Garden State weather meteorologist Robert Smith on this another record-breaking Sunday here in November 6, 2022 for Garden State weather premium forecast videos here on YouTube and also Garden State WEA on Twitter and sometimes on Facebook as well. Under Garden State weather, you can find us there as well. Look at all these temperatures near record-breaking here in the yellows, tying daily records here in the oranges along the East Coast. A few record-breaking temperatures here in Connecticut, and breaking monthly records here in pinks. This is substantial, even from yesterday. We'll check Newark's observations in a moment. Don't think we broke the record in Newark, which was 80 back in 1948, but it's still certainly warm. Here at the Weather Center at 71. Bridgeport, that probably was broken at 71. New York City, 74. We'll check that out. I don't think the afternoon observations have come in just yet, but we can take a look at them. And they're getting close. Central Park's at 73, the record's 74, so we're not there yet. And Newark is only 72. And the record was 80, so no records there yet either. But still, very warm day here with upper 60s and 70s, and the winds are out of the south-southwest ahead of a cold front now, and they're getting a little gusty here in Long Island and West Hampton here with gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. And they're basically south-southeast at about 10-15 miles an hour, just about everywhere else. Where it's cold here in Canada and into the upper Midwest here, this is where the cold front lies, and here a big change in the air mass behind it. The temperatures have risen well into the 60s and 70s across a good portion, even 80s here in the Delta and south here. And the 24-hour temperature change as of this hour, cooler a little bit with some rain probably in the east here, but definitely still quite warm ahead of this cold pocket of air. Let's take a look at the dew points this hour. This is pretty steamy air here, so I would imagine there's going to be a lot of cloud cover because we have dew points that are matching close to the air temperature, so, and a heat index. Yeah, it feels like it's in the upper 60s, mid-70s, even low to mid-80s here, from Texas all the way into Florida. Cloud cover this hour, plenty of cloud cover here scattered about in the northeast and portions of Canada and also on the west coast as well. And definitely with those dew points and that warm, muggy air, sultry conditions here ahead of the cold front. This is some weakening showers here just out ahead of the cold front. We had a disturbance in the upper atmosphere this morning in the mid-levels of the atmosphere that produced a few rain showers across the Poconos into northwestern New Jersey, and probably able to dial this back a little bit even further, but you get the picture. If we take this off here, and we got that there. Let's move this. This is my radar. And this will show you now where the latest precipitation is across the region as this page loads up. Here's the temperatures. And this is a weakening area of showers because all the PVA is up here with this. So, you know, still watching this area of development here in the tropics. And that has about a 90% chance of formation in the next 5 days, so we're definitely going to be monitoring this. No tropical cyclones just of yet, but it's down in here, and we'll be moving in this direction. We'll get to that in a moment. And this disturbance here has about a 70% chance of development, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Here's the cold air, and it's coming very slowly, shifting with a step-down approach to the eastern United States over the next several days. And from Flu-Star today on this Sunday, we still have COVID here across portions of New England, New Jersey too, not out of the woods, southern Midwest as well. Cold and flu has really spread throughout the entire eastern United States. Coughing is absolutely horrendous with allergies, and strep throat is gaining a foothold across the eastern United States and the deep south. Fever is running amok, and the flu is definitely increasing across the eastern United States and the Gulf. Back to the tropical Atlantic here. Key messages for the area of low pressure over the southwestern Atlantic that we just showed you a second ago. It's now moving to the north of Puerto Rico. It's expected to become a subtropical or tropical storm tonight and Monday while it moves northward or northwest across the southwestern Atlantic. Regardless of the track, widespread impacts would be from coastal flooding, tropical storm force winds, heavy rainfall, rough surf, beach erosion likely southeastern United States, the Florida East Coast, and portions of central and northwestern Bahamas beginning early to middle parts of next week. This week coming up, actually. And the system could be near or at hurricane strength before it approaches the northwestern Bahamas and the east coast of Florida on Wednesday and Thursday, bringing the potential for dangerous storm surge, damaging winds, heavy rainfall to portions of those areas. We'll get into that in the modeling in just a moment. So we should make sure that you have a hurricane plan in place if you're in these areas. Let's dial this back. And let's see if we can go into tropical tidbits here. Take a look at, let's just go into tropical tidbits here. Air Force reconnaissance planes are flying in right now into this mission. And that's the Air Force, so they're flying in now and taking a look at this. There's no drop zone data just yet, but they're investigating it. There's other assigned Air Force missions going in the same area at the same time right now. So we have Air Force 303, Air Force 302, and Air Force 309. It's a serious matter here going on with the drop zones here. So we're getting some of the latest information from some of these drop zones here. This one in particular says type unknown, but we're getting a handle on the situation, and we'll be updating this as we go further along. Let's see. Yeah. Well, we got firing up of strong convection here on the east side of this wave, and we definitely have good outflow developing. So that looks promising for, action here. When we take a look at the latest information here on the global and hurricane models, taking this storm most likely into a path of Florida and possibly then recurving it back out into the northeastern Atlantic with some subtropical or extratropical characteristics to it. Let's see, take that off for a minute. And this is the GFS ensembles, which basically takes it right into eastern Florida, brings it right back out to the west side, and then swings it back up north through northern Florida, and then eventually out to sea with the black line here. And so this is out like 24 hours right now. Here it is right now at this hour at 12Z this morning on the ensemble guidance from the GFS. And at 72 hours, about 96 hours here, getting close to Florida or inland Florida, sweeping across. So this is particularly a dangerous situation setting up with this, and the Canadian ensembles also favoring a hit on the east coast of Florida before swinging it back here into the mid-Atlantic. Some clustering here to the west inland and some clustering out over the ocean, but the general path here in the black line says it remains offshore, but this is still going to bring an influence to our weather going ahead this week. Right now we're going to use the European model guidance, 500 millibar temperatures. Well, first of all, we'll take a look at the 850 millibar temperatures through the forecast from this morning's run on the operational. All this warm air is going to be fading slowly, sinking south with that cold advection coming in from Canada, and Mexico is going to get quite warm, and the interior desert southwest as well. But it's going to be a step down and a modification, and then a really strong tropical wave here is going to interact somewhere alongside or get kicked out by this upper trough here as we head into Thursday and Friday. You can already see all this cold air coming. The tropical wave and whatever happens here with this wave of low pressure along the cold front or east of the cold front is going to be bringing some copious amounts of rain and then a really big chill down in temperature. We're talking about temperatures in the 40s next Sunday and Monday across New England and Delaware, all the way down to the Virginias and the upper Midwest here. This is some very cold air. It's going to modify just a little bit, but it's going to be a step ladder as we move forward. Let's take a look at the 500 millibar heights. Take a look at that right now. Here's our concern in the Gulf as we see it right now on the European model guidance, and you see this large ridge in the jet structure here at the 500 millibar heights here as we head into Tuesday. So the warm air is going to sink and sag further south, and then here comes the tropical disturbance here over Florida, and here comes the upper level low across the upper Midwest digging in, and then eventually taking it northeast through northern Florida, according to the European model guidance, and then off the east coast. And here comes all that cold air with that upper level trough over the upper Midwest into Canada and into the eastern United States, the northern mid-Atlantic anyway, as we head. And then that, you know, it relaxes, that pattern just relaxes a little bit, but still it's the west to east pattern. There's a big shift going on here with a ridge building. And in fact, if we took a look at North America, this is the reason why. Big changes. Look at today, for example. Okay, upper level lows, ridge access here over the Aleutian Islands. That ridge access now builds and pummels the area. Now, ridge access then builds into the western United States, and a big trough access with open trough here in Canada. But this is a big change. This is a positive PNA here, almost. Not perfect, but, you know, it's a start of a big pattern change. And say you want snow. Well, initially that's going to be in the west and Canada and the upper Midwest. And then eventually some of this is going to bleed in from off the Great Lakes. These could be lake effect snow showers, lake effect enhanced snow over cold air running over warm water here in the Great Lakes. And this could prove to be, you know, an interesting time period for a big weather change here in the eastern United States as well. Looking at the precipitation type and mean sea level pressure, here comes the tropical storm, possibly even a hurricane at this point, approaching the Florida coast. It's not looking too good for them. And high pressure will be blocking us over the top of this. Here comes the upper level trough here over the upper Midwest that is going to help kick this storm out. But unfortunately, it will probably be bringing copious amounts of rain, onshore winds, gales, hurricane force winds, tropical storm force winds, and very heavy rainfall to Florida and the southeast coast of Alabama and South Carolina here. And the model just wants to eventually spread this up the east coast as this upper trough here across the Great Lakes with that cold pool behind it drives this tropical disturbance, whatever's left of it, up along the east coast. So if you're looking for wet weather, well, here in New Jersey, the New York City metropolitan area, Connecticut, up to Massachusetts, New York State, that's going to come on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday as this storm, then now a 996 millibar low off of the Virginia Capes here, begins to bottom out here across and just east of Cape Cod. So this could be a very stormy period here for southern New England, especially the Cape and Massachusetts. Thank God today was the marathon in New York City and not next Sunday. So very interesting times ahead, and then just cold pool coming in right behind this. And you can see the lake effect and lake enhanced snow showers on a northwest to southeast gradient here, giving way to another pocket of precipitation. And this is interesting because as we head into the 16th of November here, starting out with a warm advection precipitation. So warm air riding over the colder surface would lead to some advective snow in Ohio. And so, yeah, we could see some, for the first time. Looking at the National Weather Service's digital database from a national viewpoint here, this is where the snow is out in the upper Midwest, and that's where it's going to stay through Wednesday. That's the total snow. Are we looking for any ice accumulation? No, not really. Are we looking for daily high temperatures? Well, we start out today, and it's quite cold in the upper Midwest, Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Idaho, It's cold and record-breaking here in the eastern United States. Slowly, that's going to give way. First with the cold front on Tuesday, and that's going to mean a big drop in temperatures as we head into Wednesday. And next weekend, we warm up a little bit ahead of the tropical system, and then a really cold push is coming in here as we get into Saturday. It's beginning to show up. It's still in the 60s here, southern New England and the coast, but it's backing into the 50s and even further. And so if we wanted to extrapolate that into New Jersey, which we can, this is what it looks like today with record-breaking temperatures. It's a forecast, and then tomorrow in the 70s again, and then a step down into the 60s and upper 50s. Look, in the Poconos, it's going to be in the low to mid 50s. So, and the cool down continues on Wednesday, warming up again ahead of the tropical system and rainfall, and eventually warm air advection, so temperatures back in the 60s on Thursday, Friday, and then here comes the cold front and the big change in the air mass, which will be underway as we head into next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. New Jersey regional European operational model here with the 2-meter temperature. So we know that it's warm now, and it's going to get cold. As that cold front passes off the coast, temperatures will drop down into the 40s and low to mid 50s as we head into Monday night and Tuesday morning. So it's going to get chilly and warm up a little bit into the 50s, but quite chilly around here on Tuesday, which is election day. Get out and vote. Weather should be okay. But here comes a chill in the air. Already in the 30s in northwestern New Jersey, the low to mid 40s, even to the coast on Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning, actually, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and we can see some chilly air, and then we warm up again. So this is, this looks good on Thursday ahead of that tropical system and extratropical, whatever, along and ahead of the cold front. And this is where things change. So we head into Friday morning, temperatures drop off again into the 40s and 50s. It is still warm relative to normal here on Friday, but that is all changing. Because as we head into Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, we've got temperatures in the 60s, but they're already back into the 40s here across Pennsylvania and portions out west. And by the time we get into Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, temperatures are in the 30s and low to mid 40s in the afternoon. Sunday afternoon, next Sunday afternoon, temperatures in the low to the mid 40s. Big weather change. So if you're not sick, you're probably going to get sick. Monday, next Monday, not tomorrow, but next Monday, temperatures again in the 40s. Okay. And this is backed by the PNA, the ensemble model guidance, temperatures now in the 20s for overnight lows on Tuesday morning, November 15th. And then in the afternoon again in next week, not this week, but next week, temperatures in the 40s again in the afternoon. This is really a big, big change in our forecast scheme here. Not only that, but today, of course, is daylight savings time, which means that it is now 4:16 according to my clock here, doing the video this afternoon. Normally it would have been 5:16 yesterday, but that's all changed. We dialed back an hour with daylight savings time, and sunset tonight will be at 4:45 p.m. Up close with the European model guidance here for this afternoon. Just a few widely scattered showers around. There's not much going on right now. The main feature to look out for this week is not only the changeable temperatures, but the increase of moisture with that subtropical or extratropical system making its way up along the East Coast. As we head into Friday night and Saturday morning, it's going to be felt. And that means some very heavy downpours are possible on Saturday morning. And then that races off the coast. This is the latest European model guidance. Then right after that happens, next Sunday, November 13th, we could see some snow flakes flying here in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. downwind of the Great Lakes. That may not make it into New Jersey just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a flake or two in the air. And then, as we move into the following week, November 16th, this is when we have the warm air advective pattern with overrunning precipitation from a storm developing out to our south and west over the cold dome that is already in place, and precipitation here falling as snowflakes. And already the European model guidance from this morning's operational run is indicating, yeah, there could be some snow here on the ground, not only just in the air here across northwestern New Jersey over the next 10 days. By November 16th, this is way before Thanksgiving, and we could see some snow here in the Poconos as well. We're using all the models now, which is the European model guidance, the European high resolution, the Japanese model KMA, the GFS, the ensemble GFS, and the Canadian model guidance. When we're looking at the North Atlantic ice oscillation, it is mainly neutral to positive here, but a big flip down on some of the model guidance here. High resolution European, for example, dips it. The Arctic ice oscillation also showing a favoring for a dipping here to a neutral to positively negative, and then back to neutral again through the mid to late part of November here, just before and around Thanksgiving. The EPO, this signal here is definitely important because this shows me that we are in a really big pattern change here. West Coast has troughiness now, and the East has ridging, but that's all going to change around, and it really tanks here around the 15th, climbing back up again. So there's going to be a lot of potential here. Western Pacific oscillation, same kind of thing, and the PNA, which has been negative right now because we have a trough on the East Coast, is going positive to neutral in the second half of this month. So lots of things on the table here to talk about. And from Null Earth School, we have the jet stream here. Big ridge here. West to east flow here. Strong high pressure over the deep south. Here comes that subtropical to tropical storm becoming a hurricane here, possibly for Florida, and then extratropical as it makes its way out off the coast ahead of the cold air coming in. What stands out to me at 70 millibars is our polar vortex, which is beginning to stretch a little bit under this influence here. And at 10 millibars, again, I see a blocking signature here. Strong high pressure over the Aleutian Islands in the upstairs of the stratosphere, and a stretching of the polar vortex. And if we move this GFS ensemble around here, and we get further stretching here over the pole as we're heading into November here. This very interesting pattern shaking up. This looks extremely interesting. High latitude blocking developing. This definitely looks very interesting to me.